So my name is Neka Izigwe and I'm a fine art painter, and I've just won the Royal Society of Portrait Award for the best self-portrait in show, which is this year's theme. So my portrait's Narcissus, and yes, it's just really exciting. And I was here a couple of years ago exhibiting my painting Lily before the play, which won the Taslima award for best in show for artists under 35. So really delighted to be back again. Within my work, I like a lot of sort of dreamlike elements, surreal elements, storytelling and narrations. And this one is based on the tale of Narcissus and how he falls in love with his reflection, and when he dies, a daffodil is left in his place. So I sort of took this idea along with combining it with my self-portrait, and I'm wearing a robe with waves on it, sort of a Japanese robe from my mum with like hokusai waves and things. I like to include elements from my family and things we've brought along the way. And I'm holding a little spool of gold thread, and with that I'm sort of tempting Narcissus into the water, which I'm basically signifying a pool. And the Narcissus is tempting in as gets himself already in the Narcissus form as a daffodil and being grown on the plate. I think to sort of be confident in your work, and I think very early on I applied to these shows and exhibitions with my best work and set myself up a website. And I think, you know, a lot of young artists these days feel maybe they're not necessarily good enough or haven't, you know, been in that position yet where they can apply to these sort of places. But it's really important in terms of, I guess, progressing your career as an artist, and also choosing subject matter that you fall in love with as well. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Simon Davis. I'm a member of the Royal Society of Portrait Painters, and I just won the prize for a small portrait in the show of my painting Taslima. And Taslima is one of my next door neighbour's daughters. So I painted her a few times, but I wanted to do a small profile portrait of her, and because she's got an amazing face, so yeah, so that's why I did this. I'd usually put larger portraits in sort of full figure or three-quarter figure, but I was just doing this as a preliminary for a bigger picture, and it was so nice. For some reason it came out really nice, and I thought this would be a really lovely sort of square, quite small portrait to put in. My process is pretty simple. I got Taslima around, and I spent a while taking a lot of photographs, and then sort of edited those down, and then worked from a few photographs at a time. I always work from photographs, and then it's painted oil on board. And yeah, I mean, because it's quite a small painting, it sort of takes one sitting or one go at painting. Is that the right word? I don't know. Anyway, and so yeah, it's sort of like painted in a day. So it's pretty quick. So I started, I would say, seriously portrait painting about 20 years ago, because the very nature of painting is quite a solitary sort of work space. Then you so to exhibit in open exhibitions like this is a really great way of getting your work seen, and also to mix with other portrait painters, and that was what always attracted me to the Portrait Society. So I submitted to the open submission for a few years, and then decided that I'd quite like to be a member. So you sort of apply, and then you get selected by your peers. So it's a very welcoming society, because you are judged by other painters. So it's not it's very sympathetic and very understanding, and a really good bunch of people.
So hi, my name's Laura Hope. I'm an artist based in Banbury, just outside of Oxford. I recently transitioned into more of a fine art practice after having a career in freelance illustration. And it was during lockdown that I realised that I was really unhappy doing commercial work and started wanting to make work for myself and paint for myself. And that led me to actually leave freelance work, get a job 4 days a week working in an art gallery, and then have a day to kind of work on my own practice. I've won the De Laszlo Foundation Award today for this portrait of Micheal. So this portrait actually came about because the subject, Micheal, is also a portrait artist, and he asked to paint me. So I went over to his house. He lives around the corner from me, and he took a few shots of me in his living room to paint. And then I insisted that I had to take some shots of him to paint. And he really didn't want me to take any pictures, and I sort of forced him into it. But actually it worked out perfectly for this picture because it had that kind of awkward, uncomfortable quality. He kind of feels like a small boy kind of swallowed by this chair, and it played out perfectly for the piece that I wanted to create. And also his living room, the furniture was, I'm really inspired by kind of Art Nouveau, like old vintage stuff, and he had all this old furniture in his house, and these really red walls which were perfect for the picture. I've been to the Moore galleries before when I've been in London. The last time I went was for the Royal Society of Wildlife Artists, so I already kind of knew that you had these Royal Society exhibitions. And then a friend actually tagged me on Instagram and said that I should apply for this. And I kind of set myself a goal for 2022 because obviously this is a new transition that I needed to apply for some awards to get my name out there. And so on a whim, this is the first one I entered this. And the reason I entered this is because it's one of my first pieces in this kind of fine art world, so it wasn't really a choice of which one to enter. I just went for this one because it was in my studio and thought, what the hell, I might as well apply.